Oh, tax season. I don't know about you, but whenever April rolls around, I decorate my house with Monopoly money and receipts. Who among you does not wake up with joyous butterflies fluttering through your stomach as April 15th draws near? Well, hopefully by now you've already filed, which means it's time to celebrate by learning about the 6 most bizarre tax laws from around the world. Number 6. Romania's Witch Tax. If you're anything like me, you find the concept of witches to be a constant and debilitating source of absolute terror. Cave-dwelling crones who sustain themselves on a steady diet of overweight children? Not to mention they can hex you on a whim. No, thank you. So you can understand my trepidation when I discovered that Romania has so many witches that they created a special tax. Romania began enforcing a 16% income tax on witchcraft in 2011, which is pretty recently. It turns out that until then, local witches were dodging taxes because Romania's labor code didn't list witchcraft as a profession. So, guess which country I'll be visiting never? Number 5. Tennessee's illicit drug tax. According to the state of Tennessee, drugs are bad, but if you're going to do them, you might as well pay taxes on them. In 2005, Tennessee passed the so-called crack tax, which required anyone who bought or sold drugs to buy a tax stamp. Anyone caught with drugs, but no stamps, would have their property seized and their bank accounts frozen until these back taxes were paid. The state reportedly issued over 700 crack stamps in the first couple of years, but courts ruled the tax unconstitutional in 2009 after they realized it was not an SNL sketch. Number 4. Wacky British taxes. Oh, England, you wacky country, you. Back in the 18th century, they created a wallpaper tax aimed at painted, printed, or stained wallpaper. After paying the tax, citizens were issued a stamp. To combat bootleg stamps in circulation, the UK made the forgery of these wallpaper stamps punishable by death. At one point, there was even a hat tax that required men to have a stamp embedded in the lining of their hats. People caught with fake stamps were also executed. Number 3. The flatulence tax. Apparently, cows produce more greenhouse gases than cars, so much so that the United Nations suggests the environmental impact of cattle worldwide may be more harmful than the emissions of all the cars and trucks combined. In an effort to get livestock producers to internalize the costs of environmental challenges, the UN's Food and Agricultural Organization proposed a tax on bovine flatulence, or in layman's terms, cow farts. So far, Ireland, Denmark, and Estonia have enacted fart taxes. And rumor has it, the US is about to pass a fart tax of its own. That's just fun to say. Number 2. Russia's beard tax. Throughout his reign, Russian Tsar Peter the Great wanted to westernize his empire. So, to get ideas for reform, he toured Western Europe in the late 17th century and had a look-see. What he saw were a lot of baby-faced noblemen, sans facial hair, so when he got back to the motherland, he created a beard tax for all men except priests. These bearded fellas had to pay a hefty fee in exchange for a token they'd wear to show they had paid their beard tax. Now, if only we could create a version of this tax for taking selfies. Number 1. China mandates smoking. We've all heard the expression, smoke 'em if you got 'em, but in the case of Gong'an County in China, this was the law. To alleviate their 2009 economic crisis, officials wanted to discourage residents from buying cigarettes outside the Hubei province. So this new law mandated quotas of cigarette cartons for each of its villages. Locals were ordered to collectively smoke 230,000 locally made cigarettes per year, with an estimated worth of over $600,000. Those who failed to meet the quota, or who were caught smoking non-Hubei cigarettes, were subject to fines and public criticism. The law was short-lived after local and international protests, but you gotta hand it to China for giving it the old college try. So, as we commemorate the most sacred of financial holidays, just be thankful you don't have to deal with any of this silliness, especially the whole witches part. Ugh. Or sharing the building with other businesses, take a close look at your lease before inviting the petting zoo. Some landlords hate wet kisses and wagging tails, so be sure to check with your property's management.